Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. In this video, we are going to be looking at document loaders in LangChain. And my objective is that by the end of this video, I want you to understand everything about document loaders in LangChain, and also you can be in a position, or you should be in a position to create your own custom document loaders in LangChain. So let's get started. And what I have done is I've logically grouped these sections in this sort of mind map, and I'll be starting with this section on your right, and I'll be moving in a clockwise fashion to this, and then finally types of document loaders. And to kind of code as I go further in topics, what I'll do is I'll open a new Colab notebook, and I would like to install two LangChain packages. So I'll create a new notebook here, and you might be already aware, and if you are not, it's okay. LangChain has a base, you can think of a core package and also a LangChain community package, and then there are some specific packages for specific integrations. So LangChain has got one integration with OpenAI, so LangChain has got one specific package to for that. Okay, but what we need for this video is LangChain core and LangChain community. Okay, because all these document loaders that we will be talking about are contributed by community in the community package. So I'll name this notebook as document loaders in LangChain, and I would like to install two packages here. Pip install first is going to be LangChain, and when I install LangChain, it will install the LangChain core package, and then I'll need LangChain community. And there is one specific document loader that we will be needing, and that is PyPDFLoader. That depends on this package called PyPDF, which we need to install separately. So now if I one second, let me delete this. If I just run this cell, it should take care of the installation. And meanwhile, while this installation is taking place, let me move to the right and let me start talking about the first piece of this discussion, and that is what is document class or object in LangChain. Okay, so let's expand this map and let's try to understand what is a document class. Now in the first cell, what I have done is I have showed you how you can possibly import a document class, and in the second I have basically explained how to create the document class, how to create an object from document class, and also what constitute a document in a LangChain. Okay, so this is what you need to understand. A class with two attributes, or I should possibly use, although it does not matter, object. So our object with two attributes, and the attributes that we are talking about is page content. The actual text or whatever is there in that document is going to be inside this page content attribute, and then there is going to be this metadata attribute, which is essentially going to be a dictionary or a JSON structure. Okay, now the next question arises that why do we need this document, although we have not discussed document loader, because you will be in a much better position to understand these document loaders once you understand the document itself. So let me copy this cell and let me go inside this notebook and let me copy this, paste it here. Okay, so from LangChain core .documents, I am importing this document class. Now document class has been imported. What I can do is I can create a document, and here I need to pass two parameters, which is, and here mind you that I'm creating this document from scratch. Okay, usually you won't be doing that, only rarely you will be doing that if you have to do custom document loaders and all, but here most of the stuff you will be using and loading these things automatically by utilizing some existing implementation. So never mind. So I'll say this is my example document. So this is the actual page content, and then I can have a metadata, and inside this metadata, this will be a dictionary. I can have something like maybe author can be maybe my name Rahul Jha, and then I can have possibly source, and in metadata you are free to choose whatever you want to add. Okay, and I can name this as my document. and this document will basically be created. And if I now print my document, you can clearly see that you have got this metadata and you have got this page, although you are not required to pass metadata. So if I just omit this metadata, this will be just empty, this will be just printed as empty JSON, empty dictionary. You can see that metadata is empty, and then page content is this. Okay, so yeah, so this is a document object. Now the question arises that why do I need to learn it to be able to use LangChain? So there are two reasons to it, although there is only one reason. I have just extended that reason into the second point. So the way LangChain has been created, it has standardized certain things, okay? And the benefit of standardization is that you get to utilize some of the other functionalities which have been built on top of it. So for example, one such example is text splitter, which essentially helps you in chunking. And if you guys know, chunking is one of the steps in a RAG based application. So in other words, this standardization of document class, what it does is it helps us in utilizing and using other features of LangChain such as retrievers and text splitters and so on and so forth. Okay, so now after this discussion, you should be in a position to first of all define what is a document object and then why do we need it. Okay, so now let's close these two and let's come to the left and let's talk about what is a document loader in LangChain. Now name itself should be pretty self-explanatory, and that is it loads the document from different format or various sources. How does it load it? This is very important. It loads them in a list of document objects. What are those document objects that we just discussed on our right? So it will always give you a list of returns. So all the different type of object document loaders, they will always return a list of document objects, no matter which document loader I am dealing with. Okay, so I hope it makes sense. Now finally, let's start talking about types of document loaders. So here I have listed, you can say some 6 type of document loaders, and I will be going through them one by one. So let's start with TextLoader. Okay, one of the nice thing before I start coding and explaining you how to work with these loaders is that all of these loaders, basically to interface and to use these loaders is quite similar, because if you get a hang of one loader, you will be in a position to use other loaders as well. And the reason for that is because this is how LangChain has made it easier to basically interface and use these type of loaders by using simple commands. So let's start our discussion with utilizing the TextLoader. Now what does this TextLoader does? So it loads a text document in a list of one document object. Notice here it loads one text document. Here I am talking about one text document, and it loads them into one document object. And which document object I am talking about? The document object we just discussed. And all of these loaders are, except for the custom loader which we can implement, all these other 5 loaders are implemented in a LangChain community package which we have installed here. Okay, so now we should be in a position to basically import the LangChain community, import text loaders, all these loaders from LangChain community. So I'll say from LangChain community.document loaders import. Let's import the text loader first. So now I have imported the text loader. I'll create a new object. Maybe I'll name it as text loader. Now to use this text loader object, text loader class, I need to have a file path, but currently I don't have any text file here. So let's do one thing. Let's open ChatGPT and try to generate a random text file. Maybe create a short horror story. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll create a new file here, and I'll name this file as short horror.txt, and we can edit this file here right in the collab notebook, and I'll just copy this file from here. Okay, and I'll just paste it here and I'll just save it. Now I have this text file here, and this text loader allow us to load the text files. So now I will copy the path and I'll paste it here. Now when I run it, it has not loaded anything yet. It has just created this text loader object. Now I can call two methods, and you should call either of those. Okay, you can call either load.load or .lazyLoad. Now lazy load is a method which should be used in production, because in production you will have huge amount of documents that you need to basically parse and explore, and that you cannot do all in memory. The .load, what it will do is it will load the entire text file into memory, and for this kind of file that I'm basically currently demonstrating you, it is not a big deal, right? But for production application you should be using lazy load. And if I have to talk about the primary difference between these is that load.load will always return a list of document objects, whereas this lazy load will return a generator. So it is not loading anything, it will load it one by one, and it will keep all the files on disk, and it will start loading, so you can consume the different pages of a PDF or text file one by one from disk, and load them as and when needed. Okay, so I just wanted to discuss that, but for now I'll just call the .load method of text loader. So I have called this .load. Now I should have a docs list. So let's run this, and if I print this docs, you should be able to see that this is wrapped in a list, which means if I call the length on docs, I should be able to get 1. And if I go back to my mind map, I have written clearly here is that it loads a text document in a list of one document object, and that is what it has done. Now what I can do is I can basically access the first document, first and only one document. Okay, because what it has done is it has taken this text file and it is created loaded that all content which is inside this text file, and it has loaded it into this document object. And this document object is similar in structure to the previous one that we created manually by importing from LangChain core.documents, and it has got these two attributes which are page content and metadata. So we can access it by just calling dot here. So document dot metadata. So you can see in metadata it has basically populated this source key, which is just the path of the file that we have, and then there is another attribute which is the actual content of the text file, which is page content, and you can clearly see it is the entire text content that we have got for this text file. I hope you understood how text loaders work. They load the entire text document in one document object. Now let's close out this and let's open PyPDFLoader. Okay, now one more thing that I can possibly cover is that this kind of setup might be useful for maybe processing logs. Okay, and you can possibly think of having a list of maybe text file paths, and then you can process them one by one. So some that kind of setup you can do, or possibly you can do DirectoryLoader. DirectoryLoader, what it allow you to do is it allow you to load directory of text files. Okay, so that might make your life easier. Now let's look at the PDFLoader, PyPDFLoader. See, I have to point out one thing here, that in LangChain you have got several different kind of PDF loaders, and there are PDFs which are text heavy, and then there are PDF which are images heavy. PyPDFLoader works best for text heavy PDFs. If you have got a PDF with, let's say, images or maybe scanned PDF, in those situations you might need to look at other PDF loaders, which I will reference towards the end of this discussion. Coming back to this loader, again the interface is quite similar, and it is also available inside the LangChain community. And this particular PyLoader, what it does is it loads a PDF document in a list of n document objects. Now notice here how does it differ from TextLoader? TextLoader, what it did is it just loaded the entire text in one giant document object, whereas what it is doing is it is loading one page at a time. Okay, so one page in one document, another page in another document. So in this manner, if I've got a PDF of, let's say, 300 page, it will load a list of 300 document object. Okay, where n is number of pages, and it can be changed. What it can be changed? So by default it loads in this manner, and you can make it work similar to the way TextLoader works. You can make the entire PDF loaded in one document object, but that I don't see why anyone would want to do that, because usually in these RAG based application we want to shorten the document or chunk. But never mind, you can be having a use case where you might want to do that kind of setup. Now what I can do is I can just copy this command, which is from LangChain community.document loader, but this time I want to use PyPDFLoader. Okay, so now this time I'll create a class called PDFLoader, and again this time also PyPDFLoader I need to create. Now this time I need a PDF file. So what I have done is I have downloaded this book called Introduction to Machine Learning. Now this book is a huge book. It has got about 400 pages. So I might want to upload this to Google Colab notebook environment so that I can access it. It might take a couple of seconds, but meanwhile, while this happens, I might want to utilize here lazy load, because loading this 400 page file might not be a good idea into memory, although this is also a very small thing for modern computers, but still I might want to showcase how lazy load works. Okay, so first of all, let me show you how the entire loads work. So what I'll do is I'll create a docs, and this time I'll name it as docs list. Okay, and the way it will work is PDFLoader.load. Okay, now notice the time taken. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I think I need to provide the path. Not I think, but I should be providing the path. Okay, so if I run this, and now if I run this, notice the time taken. So it's taking some time. See, it took about currently it's loading. Okay, it took about 10 seconds. Now if I check the length of this docs list, it loaded everything inside the memory, which is 392 pages, and that's what the size of our PDF was. And if I check the first, or maybe not first, because first will have the titles, the docs 12, and I can print its page content. So we can see that this is the content that we have got at the page number 12. So you got the idea, right? Now it was taking some time, but now let's try to load it using lazy load. But lazy load is not going to return you a list. It is going to return a generator, and generator will not, and generator ran quickly, right? Because currently it has not loaded anything. If I just run it, so it is not taking any space in the memory. Okay, currently our file is only there on disk. How can I load it then? So I can possibly create a list, okay, and I can consume it in a for loop. So for d in docs generator, and to showcase how it works, I'll just print the metadata of each d, and if I run this, you can see it's started printing these immediately. So here we did not have to wait. It was printing as we are getting new data. So this kind of setup might be very useful in a streaming kind of setting where you might want to stream data. So now what we can do is we have already loaded it, because it was not a big deal for modern computers. Modern computers has got enough RAM to be able to load not just one PDF. In fact, even if it was hundreds of PDFs, it would have taken some time, but it would have been loaded easily. Okay, all right. So I hope it makes sense. And with PyPDFLoader, we have also explained the concept of lazy load. Now let's close out this and let's start talking about web-based loader. Now, how does web-based loader works? Again, the concept is much similar, and in fact, it will be even faster for you, because you now know that we have got this similar kind of interface to load the documents. So what it does is it loads text from a URL. So you provide it a URL and it gives you text in one document object. I should not use objects but rather object. Okay, now if you have multiple URL, you can just provide multiple URLs and it will give you the list of that many document objects, which is going to be equal to the number of URLs. Okay, let me for this concept, let me open Wikipedia and let me pull up some page, maybe machine learning, I guess machine learning. Okay, so I'll pull up this URL and I'll paste it here, and now let's take this import, and what I would want to do is I would want to load a web-based loader class. So this time I'll name it as WebLoader and web-based loader. Now again, this will be taking a basically a list of URL or a URL. So I'll just provide a URL, and this is going to be a string, and it can also take a sequence of strings. So if I run this, now I can have a document which is WebLoader again .load, and this time also you can either call .load or .lazyload. It depends. Okay, so if I run this, it takes some time. Why? Because this time it has to fetch data from the internet. And if I now check the metadata of docs, first of all, let's check the length of docs, and it should also only return one document. And now what I can do is I can look at that document and I can print metadata. So we have got source, which is the URL, title, and then language, and then we can actually print the page content, and page content is going to be huge, right? And it has basically collapsed this page content, and we can possibly expand it if we want. Okay, all right, so now let me show you one more thing, and this time I would like to just take this web loader, but this time let's open some other page, and let me copy this link as well, and I'll paste. So this time I'm passing a list of URLs. First URL is the URL which was previously saved in this URL object, and then there is this second URL. Now let me run it again. Now WebLoader has been created, and let's create the docs. And after creating the doc, again it will take some seconds, 1 or 2 seconds. Yeah, this is done. And if I check the length of docs now, this time we should be having 2 docs for corresponding to each of these URLs. I hope you get the idea, and then you can again access these docs and print their metadata and page content. This is how web-based loader works. Okay, now if I close this and open the CSVLoader, now CSVLoader is a very interesting thing, and the way it works is, if you have got a CSV file of, let's say, 1000 rows, then in that case each row will be having a corresponding document object corresponding to that, and it's interesting. So if you have got 1000 rows, and here you might be having a CSV file with, let's say, millions of rows, in that case you might want to go for lazy loading. You can't load all the million documents in RAM. Okay, so the way it works is again similar structure than previous loaders. So what I'll do is I'll do from LangChain community.document loaders CSVLoader. Okay, then let me create a loader which is CSVLoader, but for here also I need a CSV file. Let's create a dummy CSV file. Create a dummy CSV file with, say, 10 rows. Okay, so we will be having 10 documents after this is created. Let's wait for 1 or 2 or some seconds, and it's calling Python to create it. I would have created it, but it's much easier, right? Okay, let's download this dummy data, and let's quickly upload it here. Dummy data. Okay, so we have got this dummy data, and then we can quickly copy its path and paste it here. Okay, and if I run this now, if I print the docs loader.load, and if I print the length of docs, we should be having 10 docs here. And let's look at the first doc. You see, first doc has metadata, again the source, and it will also have row number what? Row number 0. First doc we are looking at. The page content will, let's print the page content. this page content will be the entire row with the column names. Now you can think of an application where you might have a internal database, okay, internal CSV file, and you might want to answer questions based on that. So here in those situations you might be tempted to use these type of, not tempted, but rather you should be using this type of loaders, and it makes sense in those situations. Okay, all right. So now after we have covered this CSV loader, let's quickly cover the directory loader. Now directory loader makes sense. Why? Because what we do is we load all documents from a given directory based on a base loader. And the idea is that if you notice, TextLoader loads one text document, PyPDFLoader loads one PDF document, web-based loader loads one URL, although you can provide list of URLs, but by default it loads these two, and this CSV loads one file at a time. What if you have a directory full of text files or directory full of PDF files, and you want to load all of those? In those situations, you can create a directory loader. And here I am talking about a base loader. What do we mean by base loader? When you are going to be reading a list of PDFs, directory full of PDFs, in those situations, each PDF should be loaded using these classes, right? So here PyPDF is the base class, and three things are required here, okay, to be able to use this directory loader. First is the directory path. Second is the pattern of the files to load. So I might be required to load PDFs or text files or maybe CSVs, and then the loader class that will go with it. Let me show you one example. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's maybe ask it to generate one more story. Okay, and this story, let me copy this and let me create a new file maybe, and here I'll name it as short horror 2.txt. okay, and this I will also edit quickly inside this collab notebook only. And now I have these two text files. Let me do one thing. Let me copy this command and paste it right here, and there I will import directory loader. And let's create a new variable called directory loader. And this directory loader, first of all, we need to provide a path. Okay, what is the path of the directory? I want to load, let's say, from this path only. So let me see which path is this. Since this is a text file, I'll just remove it. So this is the base path of the directory. Then next I want a globe pattern, and here I want to load only the text files. So what I'll do is I'll put star, which is a pattern for matching anything, .txt. What it will do is it will go inside this directory and it will match this with all the text files. How? Because star refers to anything. So short story anything then txt, so it will match this pattern. And finally we should be having a loader class, and this loader class will be the class that will be responsible for loading each of these files. Now here we had already imported TextLoader. Yeah, so I think here, yeah, this TextLoader is what is going to be the responsible loader for loading each of these text files. And in place of loader class, I'll just paste this. Now if I run this, I have my loader ready. And then finally, as previously, we can load our docs by doing DirectoryLoader.load. Now if I check the length of docs, you will see it's 2. Why? By default, if I used TextLoader, it would have created one document per text document. But now I'm using it with DirectoryLoader, which will load all the text files. So here I am loading 2 text files. Now let's look at the second text file. It's metadata, and here again the source of the text file is printed. I hope it makes sense, right? So far what we have done is we have covered all the different type of loaders which are available in LangChain. But what if you want to create your own loader type? And that's where a custom loader comes in. Okay, so custom loader, how are we going to create a custom loader? So a custom loader, so you should be creating a new class from scratch, and that class should inherit from this BaseLoader, and this BaseLoader will come from where? LangChain core. Okay, previously we saw that LangChain core was used when I was trying to show you the concept of document. So from the LangChain core.documents, we imported a class called document, and this time LangChain core will be used to load this BaseLoader, and then inside this BaseLoader we should be implementing either .load or .lazy load, depending upon the use case that you are dealing with. Okay, let me quickly show you how you might be able to do that. So what I'll do is, from LangChain core.document loaders, I will import BaseLoader. Okay, and I'll create a class called my custom loader, and this loader will inherit from BaseLoader. Okay, so I should be having a constructor class, and this will have a self, or maybe let's say I'm creating a custom loader to load my API data, so maybe API URL. Okay, and I'll just set it to the self API URL. Now, just to showcase, I will not be implementing any functionality here, but just to showcase how you might be implementing that, I will create a document, and let's say for this URL I return a list of what document is load is supposed to return. It is supposed to return documents, and document will come from where? So it will come from LangChain core.documents import document. Okay, it will come from here. Now this document we should be creating from scratch here. So I'll create some metadata, dummy metadata, and here I could have some sort of source, which could be maybe API, and then I could have some sort of page content, which could be some custom data, right? Obviously this load will implement some methods. Okay, maybe you hit the API URL and you get your data back. Okay, so now if I run this, what we need to do is we can interface with this custom loader, just like the way we did that with previous inbuilt or maybe provided by community loaders. Okay, so now I'll just provide some random URL. Okay, random URL, and if I run this, now if I load loader.load, I should be having, one second. Okay, I think I forgot to add the self here. Now let's run this. Now notice here, document loader.load returns a list of one document object. Okay, you can customize it to your liking. Maybe corresponding to one API URL, you should return 100 document objects. That's up to you, and that's up to the use case that you are trying to solve. Okay, so with this last discussion about creating custom loaders, I feel I have covered almost everything as far as document loaders are concerned in LangChain. Now hopefully you are in a position to utilize these document loaders for further downstream tasks, and if these pre-built document loaders are not sufficient for use case, you are in a position to create your own document loaders as well. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video, and if you think anything else should be covered, and in fact I will be covering some other stuff from LangChain as well, so keep following this channel and let me know if anything can be improved or any feedback that you have got. I would be pleased to incorporate that in further videos. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.